Hi, I'm Monochrome and this is my studio in Dubai. Over last year, this space has changed a lot. I added Rotary mixer, acoustic treatment, and turntables, and vinyl become a separate direction I really want to grow in. At some point, I realized that this room not just a background anymore, it's a full member of the project. In this video, I'll show you my workspace, how everything is set up and why, and how this room actually shaped the sound you hear in my sets and releases. Let's start with the idea. Why did I decide to show the studio now? I moved a lot and for a long time it was hard to build a stable, comfortable workspace. Everything was on my knees. Laptop, headphones, random tables and corners. Some habits are still here. I still write music sitting on the floor with headphones. But now I have a real dream room with everything I need in one place, and I'm really happy about that. It all started more than 1 year ago when I decided to launch my Nameless station. The podcast is already 1 year old, I can't believe it. Back then I bought my first DJ equipment. It was XDJ XZ and I spent a crazy amount of hours behind it. YouTube pushed me a lot to build a proper setup. I started to care more about how picture looks, learned basic editing, color grading, and step by step this full setup behind me appeared. At some point I thought maybe it's time to show it to you and let you know me a bit better. On the wall behind me I have acoustic panels from Acoustic. To be honest, in this room they are more about design than deep treatment. When I got the idea with the mirror, I needed something to make the white wall less boring on camera. I wasn't trying to kill this room completely. It doesn't change the sound in a dramatic way. Maybe it helps my neighbors a little bit. Now this corner feels really cozy. I love to have the mirror here. I can see myself, fix my movements and appearance. And it also gives me a nice reflection shot. It opens up the space visually, because when you shoot set up flat against the wall, your camera angles are very limited. On the main table I have two CDJs 3000 and two Pioneer PLX 1000 turntables. Since I focus more on vinyl mixes now, I finally bought my first Rotary mixer. Choosing a Rotary is not easy. Most of them are very specific or a bit strange. For me it was important to have 3-band EQ and, of course, the look that fits my aesthetic. Soa Bem was the perfect mix of everything: sound, design and feel. The EQ is very beautiful and musical, and I really enjoy how it reacts when I play with it. I did run into a small problem. My Artophone cartridges are very hot, so the overall signal was always too loud and going into the red, especially when I tried to use external effects. Most FX units also add gain on top. To fix this, I bought -12 dB attenuators, so now I can safely connect my FX and not overload the signal. Speaking of FX, I actually have two FX units. First one was not the best choice for me. It was more about insert effects than send return. So I went back to a classic and got Boss RE202 Space Echo. It works great. I don't need a huge list of effects. A good reverb and delay are enough. And honestly, when you play vinyl, you barely have time to go crazy with the fix anyway, at least for now. Vinyl changed my life a lot. I would say most of serious changes in my setup happened because of vinyl. At this point, I'm not even sure about the exact number anymore. I think I'm already somewhere around 200 records. Most of my collection lives around labels like Cocoon, Compact, Planet Rhythm, Turba, Soma, SK11, Mutual Rhyme, plus a few older jump code releases. And I even have a small time travel moment in my collection. Are records that are older than me, from 1998. I also started a new podcast with only vinyl sets called Plates and Needles. First episode is already on YouTube. For me, vinyl is also about responsibility. You can't hide behind the pre-recorded set or sync button or just a dramatic pause at the mixer. With records, you have to be here and now. Either you hold the groove and the crowd, or the record shows that you're not ready. Sometimes it feels like almost any aesthetic can be fake today. Artwork, styles, branding. But there are still things you can copy or not. That's where the main idea of You Can Fake It comes from. A small reminder to value that can be replaced by an algorithm. Real selection, real timing, and real connection with the people. Playing vinyl, it's not easy at all. For me, it's a challenge that keeps my interest alive. I like to think of it as the top of DJ craft and technique. DJing now is very mainstream, and vinyl for me, it's a voice from the past. I'm a big fan of old school vinyl sets, and I dream one day to reach that level of technique and freedom that you can see in the best classic sets. If I could tell something to myself 1 year ago about shooting and editing, it would be, don't be afraid to make mistakes and experiment. The same is true for music production. My main goal was to learn how to write music by myself. It's very easy to use ghost producers, but I decided to take the long way. That's why I still don't have a huge catalog of tracks. For now, the process is more spontaneous than strategic, but every year I understand more and more about production. My writing spot looks like this. I love sitting here by the window. The view is amazing. I can still sit on the floor in a violent position. I think I'm still young enough for this. I honestly believe you can write a good track with just a computer. On the side I have Odyssey headphones, small music controller and Evo audio interface. It's enough to sketch ideas. For finalizing tracks, I use different room and work together with more experienced set engineers. It's important for me to share this with you. I always try to push my tracks to the absolute limits of my own knowledge and skills, and working with professional engineers starts exactly where I begin to hit my own skill ceiling.
It's that my mind is not my brain. But I think too much.
This room is also the heart of Unheard Music, the label we created together with Fahrenheit and Pizza After Sex. It's a big honor for me to work with such experienced people. When Maxim told me about the concept, I was honestly blown away. It's a wide space for artists where you're not only allowed to be yourself, you're almost required to. Sometimes it's really hard to escape from the images or sound you've been building for years, or from what your audience expects from you. Unheard Music is meant to be a place where real motives are born and the biggest experiments can happen. And for me, that freedom only works if the foundation is solid. If I'm going to take risks creatively, I want to trust what I'm hearing from monitors. That's why there is one thing that is not negotiable here: monitoring from British manufacturers. From everything I've heard, ATC and BMC are the best for me. So this is where everything comes together for me. That's my process. Home for DJing, the window corner for ideas, and the studio for the final work. I love that each space has its own role. It's an intimate, very personal space, but I wanted to open a door a little and show you where my sound actually comes from. Thank you for watching. For me, it's a big step to make a video like this. If you want to support me, like this video, subscribe, and check out my sets and releases here on the channel. Bye!